Okay, this is Campbell here. Here we are at the front of my house, and we're going to walk in and check out my wine room. About 2 years ago, I did a video about my wine room, and I heard at that point in time that there was a company coming to Australia that was network marketing wine, which was quite interesting. And anyhow, within those 2 years, coming up to now in 2018, and here's the wine room. But you'll notice something totally different in this video. All the wine's gone. All of it, pretty much anyway. Here's a recent delivery from Direct Cellars, which is the network marketing company that I recently joined. Haven't been in the company for about 2 years now, and I chose this one for a lot of reasons I'll talk about later. But right there is 120 spaces for wine bottles, another 20 or so in that one, and then this big one along here, which is totally empty now. 300 bottles of wine can fit in here. A lot of this was vintage wine that I had. You're probably wondering what happened to it. Over here is where I put the white wine, and there's the corkboard up there, wine doors of the Barossa Valley, and that's a collection of black and whites from Seppeltsfield in South Australia, very famous wine region in the Barossa Valley, close to a town that I used to holiday in as a kid called Anguston. And then if I just sweep around here, I'll tell you where this is going in a minute, and that was full of champagne bottles. So what happened to all the wine? Well, it got drunk, and it didn't get replaced because I've been working for a couple of years. So I'm on a mission, is to fill up this wine rack. So there's 300 bottles there, there's 70 more on there, 370, and then over here another 120, so it's 470, 490, plus that one. So it's over 500 bottles of wine that have got to be replaced in here. Previously the wine in here was probably worth around $30,000. Not bad for 2 years, but I was a wine collector, I still am. Just got to get back into the swing of things. So that's a pretty dramatic difference if you go back to the previous video, which I'll link in the description, when it was relatively full. That's my wine room. I'm now in a company called Direct Cellars, which I think is a brilliant business for me. That's what's left of the first box. The first carton of wine was delivered on a Monday and finished promptly by Friday afternoon. The wines were quite a bit different to Australian wines, because Australian wines are New World wines, lots of acids, lots of fruits. And the good thing about these particular wines is they come from single press vineyards, boutique vineyards and what have you. No mixed grapes or anything, it just comes specifically from that vineyard, which is good. It's great to see a company supporting the little guys. But I tell you what, the wine's not little, it's huge. The flavour is great. The depth of taste is there. It's smooth on the palate. Can't say that for all of them, because they all have different characteristics, the reds and the whites. But very enjoyable, very different from the Australian wines that I've been used to drinking. And I'm glad that I went for the International Wine Club, because there's wines that I would never have tasted, never even bothered to taste. And it's not often that your friend brings around an international wine, so I'm grateful for the company. They send out a selection of wines every month. I think you can select up to 6. Of course you can order more, but I think the minimum is 3, and then up to 6. They'll send you 6 different wines every month for you to try. and share with friends. As you can see, I shared a lot of my wines with friends, none of it left. So remember, when you go to someone's house, always take some wine with you so they can top up their wine rack. So that's what's left of the dozen bottles of wine. I went in a week. Now, it's not that I'm a wino or anything, it's just that we had to taste them. So I got a bunch of my friends around here and we went through them, and everyone gave it the thumbs up. They said, oh, they're the best international wines they'd had for, what, ever, because some of it never tried those type of wines. But funny thing was, we went back to drinking the local wines, and there was a distinct disappointment, whereas our palates were used to drinking the local wines. Everyone, to a man, and the girls included, said, ugh, my local wines, your wines were much better. So that was a real thumbs up for Direct Cellars. Bit unexpected, but I'm happy to be in the business. Top up my wine room again. 500 bottles is the goal. We'll see if we can get it done by Christmas of 2018. I'm particularly looking forward to restocking the champagne rack with Bollinger, Moe, Verve Click. They're my favourites, and of course there's lots of other sparkling champagnes out there. Some of the vintage ones, $200, $300, $400 a bottle. But you don't really have to pay that much for a champagne. Anywhere from around $50 to $100, you'll have a fabulous sparkling champagne. So that's the end of the report from the empty wine room, soon to be filled. We're going to start another cork board with the corks of the bottles. It's a lot of the cheap wines that are being produced now, the wines around $5 to $10 a bottle, do not have corks in them for a lot of reasons. But this cork board consists wholly and solely of Amberley Estate wines, and I'll have to build another mixed one of the new ones. The new wines from Direct Cellars, some of them have Stelvins, but I'm happy to see that some also still have corks, which is really good. And I'll have to spring out Corky again and get into doing some wine aerobics. But, the delivery of the wine was prompt. I put the order in late Thursday afternoon, and it was there by Thursday morning the next week, so it included a weekend, so that was pretty prompt in the delivery. There's nothing really see inside the box. Is empty now, but well packaged, and I was happy to receive the wines, as were my friends. So that's the wine room in Perth, and one of my favourite bottles of wine. Some of you wine lovers will recognise that name. Henschke Hill of Grace 2001. That was a $800 bottle of wine. And what's in there now? Oh, bits and bobs. Of course, not the wine. What was I thinking? Anyway, that was one of my all-time favourites on top of all the other all-time favourites. And there's a lonely bottle of red there that's come from Direct Cellars. And I'll leave that one there for a bit. That's a trophy one. Keep that. It'll get drunk eventually. But, anyway, I've gone on for long enough. There's Moji the cat in the kitchen keeping guard. And hopefully you'll see this wine rack filling up and up and up. Okay, talk to you soon. See ya.